Today we're going to do a review of Superman from Hot Toys MMS 200 Man of Steel, and as usual we're going to kick it off with a box. I like this design, very simple, just the logo, nothing too fancy like the Christopher Reeves one. And we take a closer look at the emblem. Pretty cool. It has texture on it. Also, when you touch it, it's not just a design, it's kind of embossed, and you can see the Man of Steel logo. This is the back of the box. Simple design as well, just monochromatic blue, some ruins behind it, and some warning. I believe this is warning, choking hazard, small parts. Closer look at the box. It has a flap that is magnetized, kind of like the DX12 or Iron Man, so to speak. So you open it up, you can see the casting crew on the left hand side, and I like the fact that they are really consistent even in the boxes, that they have this the suit texture, that it's not just a design that you can actually touch it. I don't know if you can see it on my video. If you can watch this on HD, it feels like really high quality box for such an amazing figure. It's such and you can see the casting crew who made it all possible. Kudos to you guys. This is one of the best Hot Toys, if not the best by far. We're going to take a look at the accessories that comes along with this figure. There's not a whole lot. There's a lot of hands. One thing that it does come with is this. If you're familiar with if you have a Christopher Reeves Superman, then you know it's the clip that you attach in the flight stand to, on his side to make him kind of like an illusion of flying. Does come with a cap. And one thing I do like about this figure is they're imposing this new metal rod now. I don't know where it first came out. I know the fact that they are selling this dynamic pose stand in the stores now, where they use this metal rod to create this jumping or flying poses, which is really cool that it was included in this figure, because I mean it's just fittingly, because it's Superman, so you have to do some flight poses and all that stuff. Same goes with the Christopher Reeves, but back then they were using a transparent rod, so you can't really bend it or anything. But this one it's pretty cool. So what you do is you just there's this piece, and then you attach that the clip on this piece, and then you just tighten it up, and then yeah, from there on you just clip Superman from the waist or wherever, and then you can do this dynamic poses with him. You see that metal rod, and it does come with a manual on how to do all these things if you can't figure it out yourself. Just a one piece instruction. It just shows you not to tilt his head up and down. You're gonna scratch off the paint, and so you can see there, it looks like the boot is also removable. I'm not gonna try to do it, but I mean, if you wish to do so, especially I'm pretty sure you can replace the peg. So we're going to tackle that later, because I know this is one of the complaints in this figure is they're saying it's too tall. Maybe you can replace the pegs. I'm not going to do it myself, but for anyone who wants to, there you go. You can see it's bendable, so you can do all sorts of poses that you wanted to do. It just says don't bend it way too much, and the emblem on the chest is not removable, so don't even try doing that. Alright, so let's move on. This figure, like I said earlier, it does not come with a lot of accessories. It does come with a lot of hands though, and some flight hands and some open palm hands and all that stuff. There you go, which is I mean, what exactly are you going to put into Superman? I mean, even though very little accessories, I'm really happy. I think this is such a great figure. Just since I got nothing to discuss here, so I'll just take a closer look at the hands. Really nice paint job. Kind of looks like every other hand from my Hot Toys. It looks like Bane's hands as well. So nothing really special there. I'm just trying to test out my new lens, I guess. Alright, and then this one, it says this is a commemorative commander key. It comes along with it. At first I thought it was like the special edition that only Sideshow has it, but apparently everyone does, so I was wrong about that. It's supposed to be 1:1 scale, so I guess this is really the size of it once they were using it in the movies. It looks like it's black on the movies. It looks like more silverish, but if a light hits it in a certain angle, It's different, and it's made out of metal, so it's pretty heavy. It has some weight on it. The cool thing is it has a little version. Here you go. That's from the Hot Toys version. You can see. Alright, now we're gonna shift over to the base of this figure. It's pretty awesome. This is the favorite part of his accessory, if you want to call it an accessory. It's plastic, it's huge, and it has a lot of detail on it. I'm gonna put it towards the camera so you can see. It is pretty awesome. The detail is conjunction with his suit, and on his nameplate you can see Man of Steel Superman. It looks like a brushed steel, kind of like the same material they use for Bane and DX12. It looks like it's scratched, but it's not. There's still clear plastic coating on it that haven't taken out yet. This is the peg hole that you're gonna put the metallic rod. Bottom of the base, it only says DC Comics. It has some rubber underneath so it prevents it from sliding. Pretty cool. I like the base. It's a lot bigger than expected. I thought I was gonna be able to put Reeve and him at the same cab, but I was wrong. Boy, it was huge. Just to give you a better idea on how big this figure is, so at least you know you can plan ahead if you have a smaller cab, is I'm gonna take this Superman Collector's Edition Blu-ray case, which is pretty big by itself. I'm gonna take his stand. This is his stand. I'm just putting it close to the camera, and the other one is, like I said, the tin case. So they're almost the same size, pretty similar. So you can plan ahead. I was planning, like I said earlier, I was planning to put this in the same cab, but apparently not. Not if I want to use this base. And I'm just gonna put this metallic rod real quick. I'm not even gonna tighten this up. I know it's pretty secure, so I'm not even worried about this. Most likely, I'm not gonna use this rod. I'm just gonna use this whenever I want to put him in some dynamic poses, like what I'm gonna do now. It's not a problem, but I'm kind of scared to put the thing around his waist because of the texture of his suit. I'm afraid that it's gonna wrinkle it or fade it out eventually. I'm gonna wait till what other users has and see the reaction, but for now I'm gonna have him like museum pose, if you will, just to play it safe, because this figure is just awesome. I don't want to do any damage to him, but every once in a while, if I want to take some pictures or whatnot, I'm gonna use this metallic rod. And I've seen some cool poses in the forums and such. Alright, now we're gonna take a look at the figure itself from afar. We're not gonna do some extreme close-up as of yet, just to show you how proportionate this figure is now compared to the prototype that they released. Just outside look of his suit. This is one thing I'm gonna point out. Every time you bend it or not, you get this crease. I'm not sure if there's gonna be some long-term effect on this one. Not too worried about it. The suit is kind of stretchable. I'm just afraid of having it fading or tearing or anything like that, but time will tell. This is a fairly new figure, so I don't think there's gonna be a lot of damages. You can see here we're gonna shoot some angles, and you can see his shoulders. He has a really muscular figure, but it's proportionate, and the fact that you can almost put his hands on the side is just phenomenal. I like the fact that you can do this kind of pose where in spite of his big physique, and then you can see the ab sculpture, and his body type is just movie accurate, which I really do like. You can also see the head sculpt here. It's amazing. I would say one of the best that Hot Toys has released. But I'm gonna zoom it out a little bit so you can see his legs and everything. That was one of my biggest concern when I first saw the prototype. Although I was willing to buy that, but I was kind of disappointed the fact that he has some big legs that made him look shorter. Now it's really proportionate. Now it made him a lot taller, like a lot more than other Hot Toys, but it's a lot better than having him looking like a short guy, I guess. I mean, you won't really see him being that tall compared to other Hot Toys unless you have him stand with another one. But overall, I'm happy with what Hot Toys did, and I believe that they nailed it. They nailed it on this one. Now we're gonna take a closer look to the figure itself. We're gonna start off at his boots. You can see it still has the texture. It's an overall, the same texture throughout his costume, and it uses a different material on the boot because it's removable, and it's a little bit harder than the suit itself. This one, you can see the suit has a little bit of texture on it. I'm pretty sure it's the same material they use in Spider-Man. It's kind of weird because it feels like rubber, but it's not really. It's thin enough to be a fabric, but yet at the same time it's kind of flexible. So I guess that's good in the long term. So you can do some poses and it won't tear. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. So you can see he has this this gauntlet. That one is made out of plastic. We're gonna take a closer look. It has some really cool details on it. Also on the side of his pants. I don't know if you can see it on the side. Pretty consistent as well. Pretty nice. This one is different from the suit. I'm pretty sure you can remove that. It's made out of plastic. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. Once it's kind of bent, I don't know if it's a good idea to leave it bent for a long time, but you know, there's really nothing you can do much about those elbow joints and all that stuff. I mean, it is gonna bend. So if there's any long-term effects to that, who knows? You know, we're gonna find out. But I really do like the fact that it's all proportionate. You know, it's something different from the prototype that they released. So you can see the chest area. His logo is kind of embossed. I know some videos I've seen that they took out the costume and they see some holes in his chest. That's where his emblem is kind of drilled in. We're gonna take a closer look on his waist. Some details on it. They said it's a different color. The one on his belt, not really sure. Didn't really pay attention to the movie. You can see the shoulder. You know, he's really muscular, but not to a point where it's he's like Arnold body type. I know they used a different body type for this particular figure. I know in the prototype it has bigger legs, wider shoulders and everything, but I think this one's just perfect. You can see the details on his emblem. Really cool. And that's where his cape rests. For some customizers, I'm pretty sure they find out a way to remove that cape. Yep, this is head sculpt. Pretty amazing. The best head sculpts by far that I've seen from Hot Toys. There's really not much room to improve on this one. I would say this is a 10 out of 10. No complaints whatsoever. And I do like the expression that they gave this figure. He looks kind of mad, but on a different angle, he looks like a normal expression. It depends on where the light hits it, I guess, because I've seen some pictures, or I've done some pictures of him where he does not look mad, or sometimes he looks intense, sometimes he looks normal. Really amazing. Everything from the detail from his hair to the texture of the skin. I don't know, I just can't say enough good things about this head sculpt right here. See here, I'm gonna try to capture some different angles. This one is a closer look. You can see he even has this small freckles on it. I don't know if you can see it. Look at that. I'm gonna do an extreme close-up, but look at that. Anyone who says otherwise is I don't know what to tell you. If you still manage to you know, some customizers out there, kudos to you if you can somehow make a better version, but I don't know if it's really necessary at this point. Right, one of the biggest drawback that I've seen on the forums and everywhere is the height, and they are right. This guy is a lot taller than most figures. As you can see, Iron Man is pretty tall, and the Reeves, but they look considerably shorter next to Cavill. So I mean, it's not really a big deal to me, but it's something to point out. You know, he is tall. There you go. That's the conclusion of the review. Such an amazing figure. If you haven't heard it yet, you know, I'm sure you've seen a lot of reviews. You don't need to watch mine to convince yourself to go ahead and get this figure. Go ahead and buy it now. I'm pretty sure there's still stock in Sideshow or wherever. The emblem on the left is not included in the figure, by the way. It's a collector's edition, the Blu-ray 3D Blu-ray version. I'm planning to display them together. I'm just showing you how it looks like, you know, right next to each other. It's pretty cool. But yeah, even if you're not a big fan of Superman, even if you're not a big fan of the movie, this is an amazing figure from Hot Toys, probably the best that they've made. So if you are a Hot Toys collector, this is a must-have to your collection. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and thank you.